Hello, beautiful ones. Nora Rochelle here, and I am joined by beautiful Master Clarice Chan. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
So,
Nora. It's wonderful.
it is so good to talk to you from across the world. So, I'll read out your bio and let everyone know some of the amazing things that you have been working on and also how I met you too. So, Master Clarice Chan is an esteemed feng shui master celebrated for her inspirational approach and profound metaphysical gifts. Her journey began in 1987 when she discovered her intuitive ability to read the tarot. So, I really want to hear from you with the tarot.
Yes, we're
Opening a
happy.
pathway. Yes, we're gonna look into it. Opening a pathway into the spiritual realm. In 2001, she boldly transitioned from her corporate role in the travel industry to fully embrace her true calling in metaphysics. By 2006, her transformative work began gaining international recognition, establishing her as a trusted feng shui master on the global stage. Master Clarice has authored a renowned series of annual books on feng shui and Chinese astrology, and we'll share more about these later, sharing timeless insights rooted in ancient wisdom. Her most recent publication is the Guide for 2025. So, Master Clarice Chan's Guide to 2025, you need to go find that because it has so much practical guidance for navigating life's evolving currents with confidence. Her contributions to the field have earned her numerous accolades, including the Alchemy Award from the Los Angeles Conscious Life Expo in 2024 for transforming lives through spiritual alchemy. And that's also where I met you. So I'm so
Yes,
grateful. And
wonderful.
additionally, she was listed among the top 7 psychics in Singapore by SingaporeBest.com for 2023-24, underscoring her exceptional expertise and influence. The powerful combination of intuitive tarot, feng shui, and Chinese astrology have been a continual source of awe and inspiration, fueling Master Clarice's unwavering dedication to helping others find insight, balance, and empowerment on their journey. So, thank you so much. I know that's a mouthful, but I just really wanted everybody listening to really realize who I'm talking to right now so they can appreciate your awesomeness.
Thank you very much for, reading out such a magnificent bio about me. It
Of
goes
course.
back a long way, as we can see.
Yes, it's
And
very
it's been
special.
for a little while now, so accumulated a longer list of metaphysical tools.
Yes. And I love that you opened up with the tarot. I feel like we all in this field have many doorways into our spiritual connection, our alchemy. And I love that it is so integrated for you in these different ways of understanding the archetypes. So I was very much hoping that you might be able to share a little bit more about your tarot journey, but also if you'd like to pull a couple cards for 2025 and beyond and really kind of set us up with some of these images and archetypes that we can look forward to in the years ahead.
But I remembered, and as a child, I've always asked for a deck of tarot cards. I have not known why. And obviously, it was not to be found in Singapore. But as I was growing up, I keep asking whoever that is traveling, could you get me a deck of tarot cards? So, but it wasn't until I was in the travel trade in 1986. I went to Australia. I went straight to a metaphysical store in a bookshop in Fremantle, and I bought a deck of cards. And I bought the Mythic Tarot by Lise Green. And yes, and it's still the same deck that I'm using today. So it was very interesting because I started reading for friends, and I thought nothing about it, and then they come back and tell me a few months later and said, "Oh my God, you know what you told me, it really helped me," and some of them said, the reading, it manifested the way that the reading went. So I said, "Oh, that is great." But it wasn't until like I'm kind of like 90, it was when I was not feeling very well. I had left the travel trade in 2001. I was training to be a Reiki master. I started teaching Reiki. I was running meditation groups and so forth. And one day I had a fall, and then I was not able to do anything at all because I wasn't really able to do much. So then I was walking and I was looking at them and saying, well, I can't teach. I can't run groups. What can I do? And I was just looking up in the sky and saying, well, you can't expect me to live on love and fresh air. I would love to, but I have a physical body. And then there's just one word, just tarot. It's like somebody has inserted a card into my brain and it just spelled the word tarot. I said, oh, great. Then find me the perfect um, place that I could do this. So, and then a day later, I got a call from a New Age center, and they asked if I would be their tarot reader at an event. And that's how I started. So I said, okay, I'll do that. And I was just full of energy. I just went. I did like loads of readings that day. And that's how I actually started my tarot journey. I've always, had this notion that if I didn't start with tarot or Western metaphysics, if I may call it that way, if I had just gone straight into Chinese feng shui or Chinese astrology, I may not be as flexible. But I think it has helped me. It kind of like show me the way into the spiritual path of, helping people. And I grew from there. So for that, I'm very grateful to the universe.
I love that. I love that story. And I feel like probably a lot of people can resonate with how it almost feels like the universe chose you or tarot chose you, and it kind of brought you somewhere after it was clear that a certain path probably wasn't going to work for whatever reason. I know that that was very similar for me in how astrology kept coming back into my life. I kept trying to do other things, and then astrology kept coming back. So I was like,
You
okay,
feel,
I'm
I should
listening.
be doing this.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's beautiful. And I love the imagery that you gave, almost like the tarot card dropped into you. Was there a particular archetype that you felt, even just from the tarot deck itself, that you've always really resonated with?
No, it was just a word. It was very
Okay.
strange. It was just like, it's like a modality that was being shown to me.
Mm,
And it was just, it's like a flashcard, basically.
that's
So
beautiful.
I did not get any images from
Mhm.
that, but I
Mhm.
get all phone calls and that led me to an event. So, and that was really the start of my journey.
That's beautiful. I had pulled a couple cards myself because I also bring the tarot into my work with astrology. And I pulled both the Wheel of Fortune and the High Priestess when asking
Ah,
for just a
okay.
general pull of the energy for this year ahead and maybe where some of our conversation might be guided today. Because as always, there's so many things to talk about. And our intention for this summit is to really look at 2025 and beyond. And it really does feel like there's this whole, Wheel of Fortune, everything changing, and what was up is coming down. Where we might feel on the story of the wheel of the journey of our lives is probably very different than how we felt a
Yeah.
year ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. And that there's this support almost from the high priestess, which I love that she came in because we're the astro priestesses hosting
Yes.
this event. And it's just such a reminder that there's so much more than meets the eye. I know when I tune into the high priestess, it's that reminder of um, really tapping into our intuition. And I think listening to those signs, like you mentioned. So I'm very curious if you have any cards that you'd like to pull for this year. And then we can just kind of jump into also some feng shui tips and tricks for 2025 so that we can really make the best
Yes, I
use.
can. I see that you are also doing using the Mythic Tarot card, or is that a Universal Tarot?
This is a universal, a rider Waite deck. But I love that you have the list.
I need to go get the deck. If I
Okay,
have,
sure.
excuse me. Okay, why don't you participate in this? Give me a number from 1 to 9.
7.
7? Okay. Whoa. Wow. I didn't have to pull the 7. The card jumped up by itself. And it
Um,
is the card of this is the Queen of Swords. It's very interesting because you be talking about Pluto moving into Aquarius, and she's at, if you look at the card clearly, there's also the water bearer there. Although it's
Wow.
not indicative that she is Aquarius, but it is just interesting that this card represent also has the water bag, the jar there. But whenever I pull the Queen of Swords, I always feel that it's time for everyone to be fair and just and to be calm and be decisive of of any situation they're going to face this year. So because she's sitting there with the sword, but it's also an initiation time. But mostly I feel that it's not to rush into action, but to sit back and wait for the right time to act. I think this applies to 2025 because I think I mean, no doubt we've gone into Pluto's gone into Aquarius, supposed to be, a brand new era and so forth. But we still need, I mean, we've been moving at a certain speed so far. We still need to take a seat, we still need to take a couple of steps back and to assess the situation before we act. And this is what I feel that this card represents.
And I love her blue of that card.
Yes, she's very good. Yeah, she's there's a sense of calmness about her, but she is contemplating. She knows exactly what she's going to do, but she's just waiting for that right moment. Well, the card keep jumping out.
They
It's
want to be
really
seen.
amazing. I just picked, I've just, got another card. See? See, now I got, we got they're all major cards. I mean, not major, but the archetypes. So the court cards, you have the King of Wands here.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel, I like the King of Wands. I always feel that when you get the King of Wands is if you're asking about work and business and building a career, it is a very positive card. It also show people about to look at the people around them. There should be some help coming to them. I don't know if you have a question in mind when I actually was pulling the card, but it kind of tell people that where work is concerned, where business is concerned, they can build their business. They can be sure that there will be support from the their environment, if you like, because he's surrounded by a lot of prosperity, he's surrounded by a lot of positivity. So this is a definitely good card for 2025 if the person is asking about, if we are asking about, how our business is going to go. It's a
Mm.
time for us to establish, I feel.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing those, and especially the Queen of Swords with
And
the King
yes,
of Wands together. And I feel, myself included, anybody listening, if you've got a business or work or something that you're trying to build, kind of bringing that quality of that contemplation, but also just knowing you're very resourced and very
yes,
supported. And who doesn't need to hear
yes.
that?
And also, you talk about feng shui. We now just entered, since the earlier part of this year, 2024, February the 4th, we just entered a new era. We call it period 9. And period 9 is feminine energy. So it talks about women coming into balance with the masculine. And I like that they both appear.
hmm And that's been a huge theme, even if we tune into the North and South Node in the
Yes.
signs of Aries, Libra with their hosts, Venus and Mars. And that's been a huge theme, the balance of the masculine and feminine. Yeah, how do you feel
Okay.
like this energy that we're coming in from through 2024, how do you feel like it sets us up for 2025? What feels like we're kind of continuing a story, and what stories might be ready to end or close or change?
Well, if you look at it numerologically, 2024 is a year eight. So year eight is earth energy. And that's also is also the infinity sign. It has, a lot, whatever they say in astrology, right? As above, so below. But it's also like you need to continue to um to move the energy and not stop in order to achieve what you want. And then when you come into 2025 being a nine, it is also a year, a time of completion, a time where, you have to um, uphold integrity and work with, you know, um, how would I put that? Justice and also with because it's definitely got to set in 2025 because 2025 in the year of the snake. It's very interesting when you talk about the dragon and the snake. The dragon belongs to the sky for Chinese in mythology. And then you have the snake is the cousin, they believe in mythology, the cousin of the dragon is the snake and is on the ground. So they do have that heaven and earth energy, that connection. So it definitely is a continuation into 2025. Now, you talk about when that's going to take place. Actually, this month, for example, November is when the energy of 2025, the year of the snake, actually kicks in now.
Mm, okay.
And 2024, which we are now still in, the dragon is an earth sign. It does have what we called another symbology that they talk about. We call them treasure boxes because when you talk about earth, is still and it doesn't really move a lot. It's like a mountain, it's like you have four treasure boxes. And then you move into 2025, the four and the signs that are that we call them the clashing signs, like the tiger, um, the snake, the pig, and the monkey. The snake itself is a traveling horse. So you are asking if there are a lot more movement this year. That definitely going to be, especially from November, because that is the month of the snake. And that is a traveling star itself.
Wow, that is really cool. I love, and also what the imagery that you painted between the dragon and the snake as cousins, really bridging heaven and earth. That is such a beautiful synthesis. And you had also mentioned earlier, so you spoke about the numerology of the year being a
Mhm.
nine for 2025. And then earlier you were talking about period nine. And so
Yes.
for some people who are maybe a little newer to feng shui, would you be able to explain what might be similar or different about how you're talking about those numbers?
Okay, the feng shui period lasts for 20 years.
Okay.
So period nine begins this year. So it changes it's fire energy. So period nine will consist a lot more, it's a bit more adventurous. And nine in the I Ching, I beg your pardon, the period nine in the I Ching represents the Li trigram, which talks about women, is the middle daughter and middle women who are maybe from their 40s all the way to the 60s. I mean, our lifespan is much longer now. So, and about them, the period is very much about young men, You will see a lot of young men becoming very prominent in the last 20 years. But now it is time for women to kind of step up. The women will be more prominent in the society. A lot of them will be able to do very, very well. And also, we always said that fire is the fuel for the industry, and therefore you can expect the economy to be actually more buoyant. People are more enthusiastic, they are excited. It's like sunshine. Everybody wants to go out and play, they want to spend money, they want to do a lot of things.
Mhm.
So, but of course, you have different energy of the nine. You have the tip side of the nine, which can be aggression. And in numerology, you talk about integrity, you talk about success, which is very much the energy of the nine. But you also, on the downside of that is also struggle. There will be those who are addicted to struggle. And this is what they should not do because, the nine is written like that. So if you're stuck at the bottom, then you can continue to struggle.
Mm. Mhm. So the nine period, when did that start? Was that just over this past year?
Yes, that was February the 4th this year. Now it
Okay.
coincides with Pluto because that's going to end in 2043,
Yes. Yeah. That's
exactly 20
wild.
years.
That's so interesting. And so when you were talking about the period eight, that was more the period of when people were like happy to spend money. Is that what I'm understanding correctly? And like the sunshine reference that you were making, and then it
Sunshine reference
shifted.
is actually talking about period nine.
That was
Period
the nine.
eight,
Okay.
people were more materialistic. They more they're wanting to acquire more wealth. They're wanting to acquire more, like their property.
I see.
Just material goods. They're more concerned with that.
Okay.
But period nine, they're going to look at money differently because then the other similarity of the period nine and the numerology number nine is that they're both spiritual numbers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So spirituality becomes very important in period nine. So you're talking about things that you can't see and touch becomes a bit more attractive than things that you can see and touch. That you're also talking about AI, high tech, digital platform. In the past, I have to sit in front of you with you, and now we are across the world. I have to trust that this is transmitting. This is so
Yes.
there's a lot of, you also have to have that trust and confidence to stand up and do that.
The synchronicities with the Pluto and
Mhm.
the archetypes, that we were working with before with Pluto and Capricorn, that connection to the material structure, earth signs,
Yes.
and then now looking a lot more at Aquarius, which is still a Saturn hosted sign, but there's that Uranus piece of revolution and innovation and
Yes.
invention, but it's also more air and it's, in the cloud, literally, and connecting with information and ideas. And I definitely resonate with that, at least personally, especially over the past few years. Maybe this is my whole lifetime, I don't know. And I'm just finally ready for Pluto and Aquarius, but that not feeling incredibly satisfied or fulfilled only by the material, but really wanting something more. And I think also wanting to feel on purpose, and wanting
Yes.
to feel like we're contributing to this collective awakening time and contributing to the changing in human-made systems. Do you feel like that will be something that maybe is a little bit easier in 2025 and
Um,
beyond?
It will be the beginning because we have three fire years coming out. So 2026 is another fire year. 2027 is also a fire year. So, we got 3 years to kind of build ourselves to.
Tell me more about what you mean by the fire years.
Okay, in feng shui, you have five elements. So different signs below, just like, the sun signs,
Mhm.
different signs, spring, summer, autumn, winter. So the sign of the snake, the horse, and the goat, they all belong to fire signs, and we are coming into those years. So if you're asking about, do I find that things will get easy? Is that what you mean? Will things get easier?
Yes, it's
Or
kind of a trick question because there's always so much challenge to the human experience. But I guess in terms of maybe getting to take the action in forward momentum to really build the
oh,
change we want
definitely,
to
because
see.
fire is like where there's wood, there's fire. Fire burns, it moves. It's like the more you feed it, the more it grows. So your enthusiasm, your
Hmm.
determination, your energy is the vital force to what you can achieve. So these are good years. But of course, in China, in Chinese astrology, or in the five element system, fire has to be good for you, in order for you to achieve what you want. So for that, we have to go into the horoscopes of the person. But even in industry wise, if you look at the metal industry, for example, it is good for fire industry, but it's not so good for metal industry, because metal industry, you look at the energy of fire burning the metal. So they put metal element traits, which I have in my books. I listed some of them, not all of them, may not do as well. And
Because
then the earth industry,
mhm.
which, fire produces earth. So they have a lot, they will probably have a lot more resource. But next year itself, the energy of 2025 does not have a lot of metal in it. So I think that it might be for the like construction or property sector might be a little bit um, difficult. I don't know about in the United States, but in Singapore, the property has gone through the roof.
Yes,
But I
yeah.
think that yeah, and I think that is it may have hit a certain point. It hasn't hit a bubble, but it may hit a certain point whereby realizing the profit may be a little bit tougher. You may have to wait a little bit longer. So whereas water industry, you're talking about the transportation, telecommunication, the air travel, that's all going to do very well.
Mhm.
Especially when you have the year that it's going to be like the traveling star. The horse, I mean, the snake is a traveling star
Mhm.
in one of its symbols. Then definitely we're going to see a busier time, and this industry are probably going to reap more profit. Because there's a 60-year cycle. So this is like a Jupiter return. That's
Okay.
one Jupiter return is 60-year cycle. And in that 60 years, the 12 zodiac sign are divided into five categories. So you can have a metal dragon, you can have a wood dragon, which we are now in wood dragon. And then you have water dragon, you have earth dragon and fire dragon. So you have a different type of different energy. So it's not always one energy, but predominantly the dragon itself, it belongs to an earth energy.
Okay, so it's like they have a predominant energy, but then they also go through the cycles of the five different elements
Yes,
too.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And they
That
repeat, one cycle is 60 years. So the next time, um, the last time we had a wood dragon year was 1964. So if you know anyone born in 1964, they are 60 or they are zero if they are born this year.
Yes, yes, that's helpful to think about. So I am really loving the connection of the cards that you brought in because the Queen of Swords is very air element, and the King of Wands is very fire. And that definitely speaks to this snake in a fire year, corresponding also with the Pluto in Aquarius. Like it seems like with the a lot of movement of ideas and innovations coupled with enthusiasm and kind of how we are maybe also personally resourced and how this is influencing our charts for the people who are, these elements are very supporting. I'll ask it in two ways. For the people who this is really going great for in their personal chart, what are ways that they can just, really like encourage this energy to be fruitful for them. And then conversely, say for the people who have strong metal, what can they do to maybe mitigate the effects so that they can also kind of
People,
rise
that's
to
very
balance?
interesting. People who have strong matter doesn't it doesn't, how do you say, it's actually the fire is actually useful to them.
Mm,
It's people who are weak metal that has a problem. So if you're born on a metal element there, you have no supportive elements, you have no earth to give to give you resource, and you have no other friends, we call them, other metal elements to support you. You don't have your army to support you, then that is a big problem. But people who are strong metal element, it's going to make it's when an element get too strong, they are unable to move. They are unable to act, they're unable to move, they are too stubborn. But with the fire coming in, it can mold them into something else, because you need to melt the metal to make it into a piece of jewelry, if you like, or any useful item. So for strong metal, it's not a problem at all. Give you an example. If someone is born on a metal year, like they're born a metal monkey year, and then they are born in metal, what other metals are there? Metal rooster month. And then they are born in a metal rooster day, let's just say. And then they have other elements like maybe a wood dog, no, not a wood dog, or maybe a wood pig hour. So let's just say. And then you can tell that the year, the month, the day is already so strong metal. Then they usually need a lot of push factor to get them going. They usually don't, they're always like, I'm not doing anything. Then when the fire comes, that's when they can excel.
that
So
makes
if
sense.
you find people who are really in their head and they can't move, the fire is actually good for them. If you're talking about kids, the kids, they are very introverts. They don't want to go out. They just don't want to do anything. But during a fire year, they might be more active. You can encourage them to do more, and they might find life more exciting, and they'll be happier.
I think that will be great news for me. I think I have some strong metal in my I'm
You, I
looking
don't
forward to
know,
that.
when is your birthday?
It's
Are we
December.
allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, we are. It's December 12th, 1988. So I've been going through a dragon year, but it's not my dragon year. And I remember I had a reading with you and you told me to not kind of like challenge things too much because since I'm not the earth or since I'm not the wood dragon, I have a earth dragon as my
Yes,
year, that I should not challenge the other dragon because it might put me in my place. And,
yes.
that's been really helpful.
So, I mean, talking about that, we're talking about the clashing signs. So
Mhm.
there's always four major signs that's going to have a conflicting energy with the year zodiac. So the year zodiac for this year is 2024 is dragon, next year is the snake. So for 2024, you have the ox, you have the goat, you have the dragon, and you have the dog. They are the four zodiac sign that will have conflict with the dragon. And these are the people or the zodiac signs that need to kind of take a step back and say, it's okay. Whereas for next year, you're going to have a new set of clashing signs. You have the tiger, you have the snake, you have the pig, and you have the monkey. So they are going to go through different changes, but because they are of different elements, it affects them differently. For a lot of clashing signs, the first thing is they might see a lot of changes. Okay, so for you, because you were born in a year of dragon, even though you're not the same type of dragon, you are still an earth, there's still earth in you. We're just talking about zodiac, not the top element, and then not the, like for example, not the wood. You're talking about the dragon and the dragon. While they clash, they both still earth, so you can still even things out. Whereas for say the tiger, that's not a good example. Say the monkey is a metal element, and then you have the snake, which is the fire. So now that depends. How's that going to work? Because the monkey and the snake has a dual relationship. They are clashing signs, but they are also friends. So life might be a bit uncomfortable for the monkey at certain part of the year, but it might turn out good. So it's
Mm.
a little bit like
Mhm.
stepmother, I don't like you, you're not mine, but I still want to take care of you because
Yeah.
you're under my care.
Mm.
That kind of energy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not always bad. Yeah. But for the clashing sign, they must look out the rule of thumb, they must look after their health. And in a year like 2025, where there are a lot of movement, a lot of changes, like, they have to look after their physical body. So, because, of change, and the change is always external, and movement always can cause accidents, for example. So they do, when I say they have to step back, it's like, no road rage, please,
Yeah.
because they are
So,
traveling.
and so what you brought in around, so my brain is just so full of all of these things, and I love it so much. And I have questions, and I hope everybody watching is following along and glad with the questions that I have. But
Okay.
so I hear when you talk about like the clashing signs, but say it's a clashing sign when it's the same sign and a different
Yes.
element, right? That almost sounds quite similar to me, like what a conjunction in astrology can be like when you have, say, whether it's your Saturn return, a transiting Saturn conjunct your natal Saturn. It kind of seems like that, like it's almost more
Yes.
difficult
Yes.
because it's the
Yes.
same, and then you're
Yeah.
kind of
But
coming into that,
yes.
that new relationship with it. So for next year, the dragons will have already gone through their dragon return. We could say, I'm just making things up here to help me
No,
understand.
no, no.
But
They've gone through their solar return. Yes. They've gone through
yeah. And then it
the
kind of builds again, almost like, in that cyclical way.
I
So,
think if you're talking about that kind of relationship, it's more like you're the dragon. You start off waxing, get to full when you come to all the clashing months. And then as it heads into the next year, it kind of wanes. And then
okay.
the conflicting energy actually dissipate, and so what happened and then once it comes in then you get release from the clashing energy. And then for dragon, I can tell you that for the dragon sign, next year is a very good year for them. They're one of the best signs.
I'm so ready for that. This has been a difficult year in a good way, but difficult.
Yeah, so
So
it's a good one. So no need to be afraid.
That's good. So, for the general person who maybe knows a little bit of their Chinese astrology, a little bit about feng shui, but is maybe a little bit newer in general to some of the details, well, of course, I would recommend them getting your book for 2025. This is one for 2024, and I've consulted it many times. There's so many great charts in here, and you can learn a lot too. And this is like for the new user, but also somebody who wants to be a student of feng shui and Chinese astrology, I feel like. But for the general person, what do you think are some of the most important themes for people to be aware of for this year?
I think one is to take care of themselves. And for that, you look at your zodiac signs.
Mhm.
And so if you're not one of the clashing signs, then, it's good news. And then if you belong to, then there is the feng shui that you need to take care of, your feng shui of your home. See, the feng shui, every year, I do flying star feng shui, the star changes every year. And there's good stars, and this is the only time I use good and bad. There's good stars and a bad star. When I say good, it's like prosperity, promotion, good health, good relation. When I say bad, we're talking about illness and misfortune. I can't say that they're neither good or bad. They are bad. So now the dangerous stars or the bad stars for next year falls into the middle of the house. So in your living room, for example, is right in the center of the house we're talking about, the center grid. That's the center, and that is the illness star there. So for the general public, if they like to, if they should reduce the color red in the living room. in the center of the house.
Mm.
And then the other not the other star, which is quite a dangerous star that can bring forth, misfortune, is star 5. That is in the northeast. So you need to find out, where every direction is. But and the northwest, because the star 5 is a metal element, it can be negate with, I beg your pardon, it's an earth element. It has to be negated with a metal element to exhaust it. Right.
Mhm.
So they can put, if you don't want to buy a feng shui item, I mean, they are all in the book, not the items, but the remedies. But they can put something metallic like a metallic vase. Maybe if your northwest has a console there, a table, or a cabinet there, just to reduce the energy. So taking care of, and of course, looking after your front door is your main door to the house is very, very important to clear clutter, not to have too much obstruction, and to also check what direction it's facing. If it's facing the northeast, you do need to put a metal cure there,
Mm.
to help yourself. If it is facing southwest, for example, then it's good news because that's prosperity star is
Mm.
over there.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there are ways that you can take care of yourself, but checking your home, the feng shui, is very important. And then, of course, wear your favorable colors. You're born in winter. I'm just going to make it very simple. If you're born in winter, wear more colors.
Mm.
You're born in the summer, wear more lighter tones like blues and blacks, right?
Mm.
If you're born in spring, then you can have a mixture of colors. It's not a problem. And you're born in autumn, that's a metal season. Then perhaps you can have a mixture of black and white as well as blue. So
Mm.
that's like seasonally, I can use feng shui you can use that to help yourself. For yourself, you're born in December, then the colors should be colorful.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
And
And is that something that stays the same year by year, or is that a specific remedy for 2025?
no, I mean, you can look at it from because we are looking at the season that you are born in. Not, I mean, you want to know specifically, there are exceptions. Then you have to have a reading. I have to look
Mm.
at your entire birth chart. But because we are already in the fire years, we are already into a fire year, so you can use this as a guideline.
That is so helpful. So I hear metal cure northeast, and that can be through something as simple as like a vase on a
Yeah.
table, and a red carpet in the center of
No,
your
no red, no
no
red,
red. No, okay, I'm glad I clarified
no
that.
red.
So no
One
red.
of my friends say, I have a red couch in the center of my house.
Okay,
Put
get
a
rid of
white cloth over it, move it.
it. Get rid of that red couch in the center. Okay. So but any other color is fine.
Yes, I mean red being the worst, red,
Okay.
orange, and purple, red being the fire energy.
Mm,
You
hmm.
don't want anymore. You don't want to activate it.
Ah, that is so fascinating. Okay. And then taking care of of course, your front door and how everything is entering your space. And dressing according to your season. Those are really helpful tips. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. And traditionally, if you belong to a clashing sign, they do say that you can carry an icon that can help you to mitigate the clash. And interestingly, the next year, the sign that we can carry is actually like an emblem of the monkey because that they are friends. The one
Okay.
thing about Chinese zodiacs is they may clash, but they like to be friends. So when they are friends, they will stop fighting. Then it will
No.
give you less problem, right? I want to play with my friend rather than fighting with you.
Yes. Oh, that is so wonderful. You gave me one of the icons and I carried it. It's still in my bag for the clashing year for this year. And I mean, I'm still here. I haven't fallen off
Okay.
and off any cliffs or anything.
It's not all is I mean this year you're talking about clashing sign. The major clashing sign for dragon is actually the dog.
Hmm.
So they, if you talk to someone who's of a dog zodiac, they may have a different story.
Yeah. I feel like we need more support groups for all of the different archetypes to hear about what are the remedies that have worked, what hasn't worked, what's been challenging. And I feel like we need that just across the board with all of the different kinds of identifications and that we hold from, Chinese astrology and Western astrology. You really synthesize and blend it all so well. This has been such a helpful conversation. Thank you
Thank you.
so much for bringing all of your wisdom. And I would highly encourage everybody to check out her books, get the guide for 2025. Is there anything else that you'd love to share with people around things that you're doing or offerings or ways that people can connect with you?
Well, I'm going to be at the Conscious Life Expo, and that's going to be from the 7th to the 10th of February. And, I have an activity every day. So on the first day, we have the opening session and the welcome session. We start at 10:30. I will be doing a new Chinese New Year blessings. So if you're coming to the Conscious Life Expo, come to the welcome session. So I also have I'll be on the astrology roundtable on Sunday at 3 p.m. And also I have a free workshop on Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m., as well as a workshop on Chinese astrology and how to work with the energy of the year on the Monday, which is a post symposium or post conference, we call it. And of course, my website is masterclaricechan.com, or you can meet me at my social media. It's all under Master Clarice Chan. So I make it easy for people to find me. So the books can be purchased on my website, masterclaricechan.com, or I have a digital version. It is also on the website, on my social media. They can look it up to get a copy of it. So yes, I'll be
Wonderful.
sending you a copy. So I'm sorry I haven't sent you one yet. It just
Well, thank
totally slipped my
you.
mind. I should have
Well,
given
thank
it
you
to
so
you.
much. They're really amazing, really helpful. So I appreciate you. And definitely, if you're able to get to see Master Clarice in any of her live offerings, trust me, it's just so much information. You hold such a wide just library within you. And so it's just such a gift getting to talk to you. Thank you so much for all that you shared today. And thank
Thank you
you.
for this interview, this wonderful interview. I hope I put your mind at rest about being a clashing sign.
Thank you. You really did. And thank you for all the extra bonus tidbits that you offered me as well. And I hope that everybody watching took something away. And thank you so much for being part of this summit. And all right, bowing to all of you listening. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you, Master Clarice.
See ya.